Today, you will learn exactly how I did inner child work with my mentor 5 years ago when I drove from Seattle to Palm Springs here just to get well, to heal. And I believe that inner child work that my mentor guided me through was first and I believe most important part of my healing process. And so I can remember first remembering my childhood was about 5 years old kid, and I was sent a couple of hours away from Sarajevo, where I was born, which is capital of Bosnia and Herzegovina. I'm Bosnian American, and to live with my mother's sister and her husband and a couple of kids, and they enrolled me into the first grade immediately as a 5.5 year old kid, and I wasn't doing well, I had all these questions and nobody had any answers for me. Where is dad? Where is mom? Why am I here? I didn't know even that I had a sister at the time. And since I didn't like go to school, the kids and, they called me kind of retarded. I didn't want to talk to nobody. So it was bad. A year later, they sent me back to Sarajevo. And this time I'm living with my grandmother, love of my life. And best person that I've ever met. And so now I'm six and a half, and now I'm going to the second grade. And and you see, I remember even the name of the street. It was Takovska Street, part of Sarajevo called Višnjik, Bjelave. But anyway, and so I remember I would go to bed and my grandma would pray and I would fake pray with her because I didn't know how to pray. And then when she would leave, I would be thinking and crying, so where is my family? That's when I started to develop false beliefs about myself, that I wasn't good enough, not lovable, I'm not worthy. It's hard to handle life on life terms, okay? I'm like, what do I do now? And I didn't go to school again. I would just wake up in the morning and like normal kids, and when the kids go to school, I just go and walk streets of Sarajevo for hours, and when the time comes to go back from school, I would go back, and kind of nobody cared anyway. I remember how I learned how to read. I was second grade. I didn't know how to read. I didn't know math. I didn't know how to write. I knew nothing. And that retarded thing story even came to Sarajevo with me. And but my grandma, every morning she would get the newspapers delivered, Oslobođenje, and she would put on the table, and she would tell me, Samir, I'm old, I can see, can you read it to me? And then she would show me, this is letter A, this is V, C. And then next to the last page of that newspaper's Oslobođenje, there was obituaries. And that's how I read, how I learned how to read, and through obituaries and my grandmother. But anyway, when I was with my grandmother, we lived, her house was across the street from this huge park, and people would always play soccer, and I was a good little soccer player. And these older kids now wanted me to be on their team. And that was first time in my life that I felt like, I belong somewhere on the soccer field. People wanted me. And every Sunday, just maybe a couple of miles away from my grandmother's house, was Stadium Koševo, where FC Sarajevo playing. And every Sunday, the kids from the neighborhood would go with their fathers to the game, because you can enter for free, as a 7-8 year old kid, with your dad. And I didn't have nobody to go to the game to. And so what I would do, I would walk to the stadium, an hour before the game, and I would look for maybe 30-40 year old male and ask them, hey, sir, can you be my dad, just to get me into the game? And most of the people, of course, would always say yes. So I would go into the game, Wow. And then it was like magic. I would go into the stands and a couple of hours during the game time, and it was just phenomenal. Again, it felt like I belonged somewhere. However, when I come to my grandma's and then at night, I would be sad and I would be crying. I was like, where's my dad? I mean, I'm 7 years old and I don't know where my dad is, where my mom is. It was, again, these false beliefs started to develop and getting stored in my subconscious mind. And from childhood, these false beliefs got with me into the teenage years and then later into adulthood. So I lived with my grandmother until the age of 10 when she passed away, and then for the first time finally I went to live with my mom and my sister. So this wasn't the best childhood, obviously. I had always so many questions and no answers at all, and I don't blame anybody for anything. I'm grateful for my grandmother that gave me so much love, and so my mentor told me, Samir, of course that you were a victim as a kid when you were 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, but you lived your whole life as a victim. How can you be victim when you are 39 or 42 or 55 but the reason that you behave that way is because you got that from your childhood, and these set of these false beliefs have been stored in your mind. So now what we have to do, we have to get to the truth. So we have to replace the false beliefs. There are in my case, four major false beliefs. I'm not good enough because I'm good enough. My parents would want me. I'm not lovable because if I was lovable, there was no love outside of grandma. I can handle this life on a life turn because it was so hard for me, and I'm not worthy because if I'm worthy human being, I would have my family, my mom and my dad with me. So those are kind of 4 or 5 primary false beliefs that I developed. And underneath them, there are lots of secondary and even tertiary beliefs that I had to go dig deep down and get all that pain out and replace it with the truth. So what is the truth? I'm not victim. Of course I'm not victim. I'm a victor. I'm not good enough. Of course I'm good enough. I'm great. I'm not lovable. I mean, come on. It's just ridiculous. I'm not worthy. By whose standards? So we were able to replace those false beliefs with the truths. And then as a victim, I used to judge people, complain, compare myself to others and others to others. And I don't do that anymore. So there is no more victim in my life. Today, I understand that I create my own feelings and my own emotions. However, for decades, let's say if I break up with a girlfriend, I felt abandoned, I felt rejected because of these false beliefs developed in the childhood. And so now let me tell you that for 4.5 years now, I don't have those kind of problems anymore. That inner child, that little kid Samir, and the inner adult, we were so far apart, and that little kid didn't trust me because I didn't protect him. Of course, he didn't trust me. I never protected him. But so what happened? I wrote a letter to that little kid, to the little Samir, and in that letter explaining him, telling him the truth, and asking him for forgiveness, and that I'm hoping that in the future, two of us would get closer and closer together in order to become one. I know we are getting closer and closer together. I don't know how far we have gotten to become one, but I'm working on it every single day in peace, in freedom, in love, authenticity. And today I have a wonderful life because of that. And thank God for my mentor, Tommy, 80-something-year-old gentleman. So what I would like to share with you now is from 5 years ago, again, I wrote thousands upon thousands of papers, and but I remember this. This was the first time when I did this inner child exercise, and then I wrote to my inner child. Then, number one, I know I've ignored you in the past, my whole life, but I'm listening to you now. I want you to hear you, and I love you. Then I wrote to that little Samir, I will no longer judge or criticize. I accept you and love you unconditionally. I understand that what happened to you as a little kid, Samir, was wrong, was confusing, and it was painful. I, inner adult, will help you make sense of these feelings and emotions. Thank you for speaking up and showing me that we need to learn together important life lessons. You can trust me, Samir. I'm here for you now. We are a team and nothing can separate us. So I was able to re-educate, reparent, reprogram this subconscious mind, and these false beliefs are gone. They no longer exist. And what I would like to share with you also is the picture of that little kid when I was 4 years old, and so this is the kid that I would talk to. So this is little Samir, 4-year-old kid, and I would talk to him, Samir, this is the situation, whatever the situation was, and now he trusts me, he believes me. I haven't let him down in the 4.5, 5 years, and we have a wonderful relationship today. So if I can help you with anything, let me know. I'm here for you. I'm here for you. You can text me, call me, email me, comment, whatever the situation is. I would be more than happy to guide you just like somebody guided me. Okay, so thank you so much for your attention. And I just also want to let you know that I feel so much more comfortable today, because yesterday was the first video, and I tried kind of to be cool or whatever. I realized, I'm okay with the video. It's all right, but I'm much more comfortable today. I'm just myself, man, because behind this is the idea that I can help somebody to get better by utilizing my story, and hopefully that's going to happen. So I love you. Thank you, and see you tomorrow.